Now, as an introduction, imagine you have a great desire to learn cooking or you want to learn to cook something great. What would you be doing in this scenario? First of all, you should have the knowledge about the types of food and the ingredients that will be required for preparing the food that you want to prepare. You may know the method of cooking from a book, but mere reading of the book does not make you a good cook. You need to know the proportion of different ingredients that needs to be used in preparing a particular type of dish. You should also have to understand the preference of people who will eat that food. Therefore, you have to combine the knowledge of cooking with the practice of it. Hence, it is very important for all of us to implement a management technique in order to handle our daily chores at home and workplace as well. Let's begin to understand the objectives of management in detail. One definition of management is that management is the art of successfully pursuing desired results with available resources in the organization. Thus, management is the people oriented, an art, an ability to establish and meet the prescribed goals, working with available resources, and stressing efficiency. The main objectives of management are getting maximum results with minimum efforts, increasing the efficiency of factors related to production, maximum prosperity of employer and employees, improving the standard of living of human and social justice, achieving group goals. Next is optimum utilization of resources, reducing costs, establishing sound organization, establishing equilibrium. Good management is important for the following reasons. 88% of all business failures can be traced to poor management or inefficient management. Management deals with the effective use of firm's resources. No single specific successful management pattern can be defined. General management skills and principles can be learned, but they must be modified to deal with the specific problem at hand. Although management may have various definitions, it is important to note that it deals with people and resources. Controlling the quality of workmanship, managing and controlling the economy, execution. Now, when we look at the functions of management, management has been described as a social process involving responsibility for economical and effective planning and regulation of operation of an enterprise in the fulfillment of a given purpose. It's a dynamic process consisting of various elements and activities. These activities are different from operative functions like marketing, finance, purchase, etc. Rather, these activities are common to each and every manager, irrespective of his level or status. The major functions of management are increasing organizational effectiveness, achieving optimum utilization of various resources, establishing coordination between and among various departments in the organization, establishing coordination between and among various agencies and companies, controlling the material quality, reducing the execution time for various activities of the organization. Different experts and authorities have classified functions of management. According to George and Jerry, there are four fundamental functions of management, that is, planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling. According to Henry Fayol, to manage is to forecast and plan, to organize, to command, and to control. On the other hand, Luther Gulick has given a keyword. What is that? POSDCORB capitals, that is post COB, to understand it in simple, where P stands for planning, O stands for organizing, S stands for staffing, D for directing, CO for coordination, R for reporting, and B finally for budgeting. But the most widely accepted are the functions of management given by Kuntz and O'Donnell. That is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. These are the common universal functions. For theoretical purposes, it may be convenient to separate the function of management, but practically these functions are overlapping in nature. That is, they are highly inseparable. You cannot separate one with the other. Each function blends into the other and each affects the performance of others. Now, let us know about each of them in little detail. Number one, planning. This is a step in management is said to be a crux of effective management. Planning provides the management a roadmap for effective achievement of management goals. It decides what to do, when, and how to do for an organization. It is necessary to ensure proper utilization of human and non-human resources. Some prominent functions in planning are assessment of the environment in terms of opportunities and threats for the firm, evaluation of the firm's strengths and weaknesses, matching the firm's strengths and weaknesses with its opportunities and threats. That is, we are talking about this what? SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. Next is setting of objectives for attaining those opportunities available to the firm. Formulation and setting an alternative courses of action. Further, preparation of action plans and budgets. Now, we go to the next function, that is organizing. This brings together the human and non-human resources required for production. It identifies the activities and classifies them together. It arranges for the resources and raw materials and coordinates the authority responsibility relationships. Organizing as a process involves identification of activities, classification or grouping of activities, assignment of duties, delegation of authority and creation of responsibility, coordinating authority and responsibility relationships. Now we go to the third function, that is the staffing function. This function ensures that the right man with the correct job skills must be available for the job needed to be done. This includes manpower planning, recruitment, training and development, and performance appraisal, and finally the remuneration part. Staffing involves basically manpower planning, that is, estimating manpower in terms of searching, choosing the person and giving him the right place. Next is recruitment, selection and placement. Then comes training and development. Then comes remuneration fixation. Then performance evaluation and promotions and transfers as such. Now, the next function is directing. These are the life spark of an organization. Without proper direction, the machines will not work with skilled hands and raw material will not get converted into finished products. Directors are supposed to be supervisors and mentors to its workforce who guide them to achieve organizational goals. Direction has following elements. Number one, supervision. Next comes motivation, the second one. The third one, leadership. Fourth one is communication. Now, supervision. It implies overseeing the work of subordinates by their superiors. It's the act of watching and directing work and workers. Next comes motivation. It means inspiring, stimulating, or encouraging the subordinates with zeal to work. It may be positive motivation or negative motivation or monetary or non-monetary incentives may be used for this purpose. Next comes the most important thing is the leadership. May be defined as a process by which manager guides and influences the work of subordinates in desired direction. Then comes communication. It is a process of passing information, experience, opinion, etc. from one person to another. It is a bridge of understanding. And then we go to the very essential function, that is the controlling. This function involves measuring the accomplishment against the standard set and effectively handling any deviation from the same. According to Theo Henman, he defines controlling is the process of checking whether or not proper progress is being made towards the objectives and goals and acting if necessary to correct any deviation from the set goals. According to Kuntz and Wardnell, controlling is the measurement and correction of performance activities of subordinates in order to make sure that the enterprise objectives and plans desired to be obtained by them as being accomplished. Therefore, controlling do have the following steps: establishment of standard performance, measurement of actual performance, comparison of actual performance with the standards and finding out deviation if any, corrective actions. Now we go to the part of distinguishing between management and administration. Sometimes we use the word management, sometimes we use the word administration interchangeably. There has always been a controversy on the use of these two terms, that is, management and administration. Many authorities and experts make no distinction between administration and management and use them synonymously or interchangeably. Several American authorities and writers consider them as two distinct functions. The management experts like Elborn, Ludwig, and Mary Parker Follett regarded administration and management as synonymous and used them interchangeably in their works. But Shusey and Sheldon found distinction between these two concepts. According to them, the distinction is important to clearly understand the role of people in administrative position versus those in managerial positions. Oliver Sheldon, in his The Philosophy of Management, defines administration as a function is considered with the determination of the corporate policy, the coordination of finance, production and distribution, the settlement of the compass, that is the whole structure of the organization, under the ultimate control of the executives. On the other hand, management is concerned with the execution of the policy within the limits set up by administration and the employment of the organization for the particular objects before it. Thus, Sheldon declares administration as a thinking process and management as a doing process. In other words, management is a concomitant of administration. EFL Bridge distinguishes administration and management. Bridge considers management as a social process entailing the responsibility for effective planning, regulation, coordination, and control of operations, including the responsibility for personal supervision. Administration is that part of management which is concerned with the installation and carrying out the procedures by which the progress of activities are regulated and checked against plans. Few authors treat administration as a part of management. These 3 points of view are: administration is different from management. According to this viewpoint, Administration is a higher level activity while management is a lower level function. Administration is a determinative function concerned with the determination of objectives and policies, while management is an executive function involving the implementation of policies and direction of efforts for the achievement of the objectives. This view is held largely by American authorities or experts on management. American experts such as Florence, Landsberg, Heinemann, Milward, McFarland, Spergel, Schlusey, and Chade also hold this view that administration involves decision making and policy formulation, while management is concerned with the execution of policies and supervision of work. According to them, administration is superior to management, as the latter has only a peripheral role in determination of objectives and policies. Administration is a part of management. According to the European school of thought, management is a wider term including administration and organization. This viewpoint has been propounded by Breach. See, according to him, management is the generic term for the total process of executive control involving responsibility for effective planning and guidance of operations of an enterprise. Administration is that part of management which is concerned with the installation and carrying out of the procedures by which the program is laid down and communicated, and the progress of activities is regulated and checked against plans. Now, Kimball and Kimball, Richman and Copen also hold similar views. According to them, administration is only an implementing agency while management is determinative agency. Thus, the European viewpoint is exactly opposite to the American opinion. Administration and management are one. This is another view where many writers like Henry Fayol, William Newman, Chester I. Bernard, George Terry, Louis Allen, Kuhns and Orton, they make no distinction between management and administration at all. But according to Newman, management or administration is the guidance, leadership and control of the efforts of a group of individuals towards some common goals. According to Fayol, all undertakings require the same functions and all must observe the same principles. There is one common science which can be applied equally well to public and private affairs. Therefore, the distinction between administration and management is superfluous or academic. In actual practice, the two terms are used interchangeably. The term administration is more popular in government and other public organizations, while the word management is more commonly used in the business world, where we see that economic performance is of primary importance. The foregoing descriptions reveals that both management and administration are based upon the same set of principles and functions. It may be possible to make theoretical or conceptual distinction between the two, but in practice, such a distinction is misleading. In order to resolve the terminological conflict between administration and management, we may classify management into administrative management, operative management. Administrative management involves the determination of objectives and policies, whereas operative management is primarily concerned with the execution of plans for the achievement of objectives. At every level of management, an individual manager performs both types of functions. Every manager spends a part of his time on administrative management and the remaining time on operative management. What are the advantages of management? If you have never been a leader, it may be difficult to predict how you will react or perform in a management role. If you have the slightest interest in finding out what your chances are, why not try? Start preparing now and accept the first opportunity that presents itself. Because here are some advantages that need to be considered. Opportunities abound. 1 out of every 9 employees' position is a supervisory or management one. So, there must be room for you. The police officer who is on a beat can prepare to become a sergeant. The registered nurse can plan to become a superintendent. The factory worker can aspire to become a supervisor. The young person at a McDonald's can set the goal of becoming its CEO. The opportunity to move up is nearly always present in those who are willing to plan ahead and prepare for it. The upper level leadership dearth. Theory states that the further up the management ladder you climb, the fewer qualified people exist for the most responsible roles. Translated, this theory means that the further you go, the more opportunity there will be. Also, top leaders are more apt to move to another organization, thus creating opportunity for advancement of the existing employees. Becoming a supervisor is often the best way to achieve a better than average income quickly if you don't have a technical skill or professional specialty. If you have a general educational background and do not have a trade, specialized skill, or professional or semi professional license or a certificate, you should consider becoming a supervisor. The opportunities, especially in services organization, are really excellent. Supervisors can learn more because of the greater opportunity to participate in company training programs. They can attend more classes, read more, and associate with experts. In fact, supervisors must continue to improve and grow with the company. Organizations experience many changes that require their employees to learn new skills. Along with technical training that supervisors or managers get, they are often given the opportunity to attend seminars on leadership, team building, or team dynamics, or in technical areas like inventory control, production planning, or quality assurances as such. Employees may be able to find a little niche where they can hide, but supervisors, they cannot hide. The bigger pot principle applies here. For example, if you feel your personal growth is restricted as an employee, moving into supervision would be like transplanting a plant to a bigger pot where greater root growth is possible in many directions. Supervisors almost always know that what is happening within the organization. As a part of the management team, they attend meetings, receive more written communications, and are often consulted by upper levels. They interact with other departments and deal with a wide variety of challenges. Supervisors are in an ideal position to contribute to the welfare of others. As managers, they can go to bat for the employees they supervise. The supervisor is the employee's link to policymakers in the organization. The process of meeting the special needs of employees often begins with the post of supervisor. Supervisors are more mobile than workers. Frontline supervisors usually find it easier to locate a new job. Should their firm downright or simply shut its door and go out of business? There are two reasons for this: having additional knowledge and experience and having demonstrated leadership. Now we go to the disadvantages of management. In addition to many other advantages in becoming a manager, a few of the disadvantages are listed here. There are some disadvantages. Think about them before making a final commitment. Problem employees can be difficult. As an employee, you have already noticed that some co-workers have unusual behavior patterns that cause problems for their supervisors. Handling confrontations, working with the grievances, and doing corrective interviews can be traumatic for some people. Supervisors have sometimes found themselves in the middle of complex human problems that seem to have no possible solution. Expect to be more alone as a supervisor. Successful supervisors, even team leaders, must isolate themselves to some extent from the employees they supervise. It can be difficult to be a supervisor and a close friend at times. You must frequently back away when you might rather be a part of the group. You may be asked to withhold confidential information from your employees until an official announcement is made. As a member of the management team, you may be perceived as being one of them and not one of us by your employees. You will feel this isolation most when you make an unpopular decision and the people you supervise let you know you are on opposite sides. It's an unreasonable expectation to think that you can please everyone all the time. It's not possible. You may not receive constant reinforcement from your supervisor. Management people usually treat other managers differently from the way supervisors treat their employees. As a supervisor, you will be expected to support and protect your employees at all times. You must give them day-to-day security and constant personal attention. Do not, however, expect this same treatment from your supervisor. Because you are a manager, you are expected to be a stronger, so your supervisor may not feel the same need to reinforce you. He or she will take it for granted that you will provide your own personal confidence and self motivation and will deal more openly and directly with you. You may have to change your behavior more than you expect. Becoming a supervisor for the first time may become one of the most important things happen to you in your lifetime. It can be a bigger transition than people expect. In becoming a supervisor, you lay your career and reputation on the line. If you fail, your adjustment to a lower level can be brutally difficult and often impossible. The change requires realigning your thinking because your whole approach to your career must be different. Your daily routine, your human relationships, and your self concept may have to change. To underestimate the degree of change you might have to make could cause you to fail as a supervisor. Many of the times it happens. A position as a supervisor could mean longer hours without overtime pay. It may also mean taking extra work home with you. You may be asked to attend seminars on your own time. You will be expected to manage your time and the time of others. Many deadlines can only be met with appropriate planning and time management techniques. You may not be paid extra for the time this planning takes. Often, a supervisor's schedule is so tight during the regular working day that he or she might typically take work home. This extra homework can cut into family time. Such is the price for those who wish to lead. Now we go for the conclusive part. In this session, we discussed about the objectives, functions and components of management. We also listed the differences between management and administration. As we know, managing an organization effectively requires the formulation of clear objectives. The objective is well defined and the objective points, that means the questions of making necessary efforts to achieve it. Objects and aims direct a man to proceed in a certain way for achieving organizational aims. Management has been described as a social process involving responsibility for economical and effective planning and regulation of operation of enterprise in the fulfillment of a given purpose. It is a dynamic process consisting of various elements and activities. These activities are different from operative functions like marketing, finance, purchase, etc. Rather, these activities are common to each and every manager, irrespective of his level or status. By going through the session, I am sure you will be curious to take up the role of a manager. If you have never been a leader, it may be difficult to predict how you will react or perform in a management role. If you have the slightest interest in finding out what your chances are, why not try? Start preparing now and accept the first opportunity that presents itself.